Warning, the following audio transmission is based on theory and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It's Doomsday and its affiliates will not be held liable for anything your dumbass does. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh, welcome everybody to It's Doomsday Podcast. Today is February 27th, 2023. Time is 6:01 p.m. What's up, J-Dog?
What's up, Mr. Lisa? How are you?
Mr. Lisa is right. Oh, dude, I'll tell you what, man. I have no motivation today. I am in that slap-happy, stupid mode. I'm cold, I'm wet, and I'm not ready for this at all today.
And I'm excited.
Are you?
Because of what you just said.
Oh, the cold and wet part?
Yeah.
Are you saying you want to warm me up?
No, I can't, Jester. I can't.
It's okay. We'll work through this together. So if you're new here listening online, make sure to drop a like and follow. For those of you guys that are always here in the lives, thank you for being here. I see Rifle, Jelly, Shelby, and Eric. What's up, guys? Welcome in. If you guys are listening on the Podbean app, make sure to interact with the uploaded episodes. Leave a like, leave a comment on those because, Jake, there's a new conspiracy.
Another one?
Yes.
What is it now?
I think Podbean is shadowing this show.
What? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so I'm gonna lay this down on the line for you, J-Dog. All right.
Everywhere I go.
Everywhere I go. Welcome in, Ozarks. So anyway, okay, this is what I think's going on, man. So It's Doomsday Podcast never hits the trending page. We're never there.
Huh.
I emailed Podbean and said, hey, why are we never there? They said, oh, it goes based on downloads and, followers and things like that, so that's how it works. And I said, okay. So I started tracking our downloads and our following and everything else. Been tracking it, right? And I'm seeing shows pop up on the trending page with less than 100 downloads, less than 75 followers. So I'm like, what in the frack is going on? So I sent Podbean like a bunch of screenshots. I said, hey, here's like 7 shows with less of a following, less downloads. How come we're not there, but they are, man? This isn't making sense. And they're like, oh, well, it's a really weird algorithm.
Okay.
I call bullshit. Along with that, I'm also noticing that the show's constantly being unfollowed, right? People are always telling me I had to refollow. It keeps unfollowing the show. I notice my own personal devices do it as well. So I'm like, well, that's not a conspiracy because that's actually happening. I brought that up to Podbean and they said, we have no control over what people do. I said, well, that's the problem, isn't it? That you do have control. And they didn't want to hear it, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, my last final thought on this is the only way we're going to hit the trending page is with actual interaction, likes, comments, shares, stuff like that. Yeah, so that's my conspiracy of the day. How was your day?
Well, phenomenally better up until about 60 seconds ago.
Why?
I don't know. Just getting shadowed everywhere. I'm used to it anymore. It's a current trend that I seem to categorize myself into. Getting shadow banned all the time everywhere I go. They've done it to me on TikTok. They're doing it here on Podbean now, and they're doing it to me currently on Instagram as well. So that's where I said, peace out. I'll just make my own shit. So I got my website back, and Citizen Social is going to be bumping.
Also, if you guys haven't been checking in with Citizen Social lately, if you haven't made an account, if you're new and you don't know what it is, go to mycitizensocial.com and immerse yourself in a totally new social media experience. With that being said, I have noticed more users coming over there, man. I've been getting a few emails a day, it seems like, with new user approval.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I guess it's not from this show. I guess you've been pushing it somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm going to take the credit for that. That's all me, dog. I've been reaching out to people personally, one-on-one, and saying, hey, you should come over here. And they say, you know what? I think I will. And then they do. But as I look through this room, I said, you should come over here. And they said, I will. And I said, great.
I will.
I will.
will.
But I look through this chat, and I see several people in here who have not registered for an account, because I can see it when you guys sign up, and I can see it when you guys don't sign up.
Right, yeah, we can see it. Welcome in, Dude Sean. Welcome in, Cindy. Welcome in, guys. What we're currently talking about right now is My Citizen Social, the all-new social media experience you guys should be on, if you're not already. And you will see familiar faces there. If you're familiar with the show, you will see familiar faces over on Citizen Social already. If you had to describe Citizen Social in one word to separate it from other social media platforms, what would it be?
Unbannable.
Unbannable. I love it. That's
just
not what I was
expecting. Right off the top of my head. No thought. Just unbannable.
Unbannable. I love it. So did you do anything exciting today?
Not really, dude. I go to work, and that was what I did. And then I came home and approved a couple people for Citizen Social, and then I read some stuff, and now I'm here.
Gotcha. So, in spirit of continuing all things that I am not absolutely ready for in any way, shape, or form, do we want to go down the road of Heaven's Gate?
It's going to be totally up to you, dude, because I read a bunch of stuff and I was getting prepped the last couple hours and yada yada. But the question is, do we want to do it now, or do we want to wait until Monday again and make it real good?
Well, here's the situation. I kind of feel like Marshall Applewhite was a little bit bombed. I feel like it could have been way better. I could have had my ducks in a row a lot more, and I didn't. But then I started thinking about it, and I went back, and I'm like, how much credit should we, how much time should I really spend on this Yahoo? How, you know what I mean? How much attention does he deserve? None, right? It's mainly about spreading, the awareness to people of this is what you don't want to do. This is what you don't want to get involved with, right? Even though people love the nitty gritty. And for those of you that don't know, we did put out it's like an hour and 30-minute long introduction tape to Heaven's Gate by Marshall Applewhite. It's uploaded. It's on the platform. I self-entitled it on my computer, The Douche Tapes, but it's labeled as the Marshall Applewhite initiation tapes on the platform. If you want to go back and have a listen to those, welcome Just a Minute Too. Welcome Blade in the Heart, and welcome Kate. So I do have a little piece of audio that could get us going with this, Jake, if you're oh so excited.
Get me going, Doom Daddy.
Here we go.
Ooh.
Meant it was time for them to leave the planet. All 39 suicide victims left identification on their bodies, and now authorities are in the midst of notifying relatives. More from ABC's Lisa Salters.
The largest mass suicide in U.S. history was indeed a well-planned event. The dead were all found lying on cots and bunk beds. They wore the same clothing, the same brand-new tennis shoes, their personal belongings placed carefully by their sides. Investigators say the mass suicide occurred in stages. One group of 15, followed by another, and then a final group of 9, all had instructions on how to follow a deadly recipe.
Put the medicine in and stir it. And then eat it quickly, drink this vodka mixture, which they apparently had mixed up, and then lay back and rest quietly.
Authorities say identifying the bodies was easy once they were removed from the home. The victims all left ID. The group also left behind a videotape, an attempt to explain the question they knew the world would ask. Why?
I'm really happy that I made this choice.
We're looking forward to this. We're happy and excited.
The victims were all members of a religious cult called Heaven's Gate. They believed their deaths would transport their spirits to a spaceship trailing behind the Hale-Bopp comet.
Well, we're still here. Not for long.
Along with the tape, the group also left a letter to the news media saying, quote, "By the time you receive this, we'll be gone. Several dozen of us. We came from the level above human in distant space, and we have now exited the bodies that we were wearing for our earthly task. To return to the world from whence we came, task completed." In addition to its own website, the group constructed web pages for businesses, but few of those clients knew about the bizarre motivation behind Heaven's Gate. These recruiting tapes were made by the group's leader, Marshall Applewhite, known to his followers as Doe.
We have no hesitation to leave this place, to leave the body that we have.
Back in 1975, Applewhite and a nurse he met in a psychiatric hospital co-founded a religious sect called the Two. The woman died in 1985. It is believed Applewhite was one of the dead in Rancho Santa Fe. And authorities have now confirmed that one of the 39 victims was indeed Marshall Applewhite, but no other identifications are being released at this time. Sheila?
Lisa, what do people in the community know or suspect about Applewhite and the group?
Well, remember, Heaven's Gate ran this business of constructing web pages for organizations. Of the clients that we have spoken to, they all say that Marshall Applewhite, though he was in some sense strange, he was very good at what he did. He was very good at constructing these web pages, and they were very pleased with the job that he did. A very different picture of the man that we see on these videotapes, who is talking about ascending to heaven in a UFO.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com. All right, so it goes a little bit longer and it gets into some other things that are going on within like doomsday cults and things like that. But I listen to this and it's comical to me when you hear this. It's almost funny. It's almost something very hard not to laugh at, right? And then you think about there's 39 victims involved. Well, 38, 39 including Applewhite, but he's not a victim. And then it kind of hits you like, holy shit, man. So Jake, have you watched any of the exit tapes?
I read a little bit today. I didn't watch any of the tapes because I was hoping we kind of do what you just did, which was just play it. But I was reading more. I looked on Wayback Machine and I looked at his website. And it's everything you would expect from like a 1990s like website. You know how like back in the day when like with MySpace or whatever, you could make a background and it would like it would be like a 200 by like 300 little window of like blinking stars, and you could just have that fill the entire background of your website.
Right. So just FYI for anybody out there, their website's still up. You could still go there.
It's still there.
Heavensgate.com. And it's it still looks like they just left this back in the 90s.
Yeah, there's even a counter on it. I think I was like number 4602 or something like that. And it was like tracking back from like June of whenever, 1996 or something like that. But either way, I looked at it and I was like, man, I remember doing this stuff and I don't miss it. And I saw the little Netscape logo down at the bottom and I was just like, oh, the nostalgia hit me. But it's very spacey. It's very outer spacey. It doesn't make me want to like castrate myself, but it's very spacey.
It makes me want to go to a lock-in at a roller rink.
It makes me want to make a MySpace profile all over again.
It makes me want to eat Dunkaroos and
it doesn't
Fruit
make
Roll-Ups.
me want to castrate myself, though.
No.
It also doesn't make me want to take phenobarbital and vodka.
It doesn't want to make me try to ride on the back of a comet in a spaceship.
It gives a whole new meaning to Nike's slogan of "Just do it," because they just did, didn't they?
They fuck yes, they did. So, I mean, if you guys, so like literally, I wonder, I really wonder who's paying for the funding to keep this site up.
It's got to be like $2 a month to keep it up. It's cheap.
Hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com. There's got to be somebody though, like that's like, I need to maintain this website, and
Well, that's why it's on Wayback Machine. It's accessible either way.
Right. So anyway, for those of you guys that don't know, Applewhite believed that the planet was going to be recycled, and he believed in this that he was an alien in a human vessel and that everything was about to be destroyed, and your only salvation was to hop in this spaceship in back of the Hale-Bopp comet and take a little ride to space heaven. That's pretty much what was going on.
It was trailing the comet. It was there, guys, but you just can't see it because it's in the tail of the Hale-Bopp comet.
Now, if anybody went back and listened to, show of hands in the chats here, who actually went back and listened to the douche tapes, the initiation tapes? Because I have all hour and a half of the douche tapes here, and we can like run through some of that and pause it so you guys can get a sense of what really went on here. What's more interesting than the douche tapes and more interesting than the exit tapes are the survival stories. That's what's most interesting. What's up, Al? Welcome in, dude. Welcome in, WV Pappy, DZ something. Welcome in everybody that's new that's coming in. So what's really interesting are the survivor stories. One woman's story that I was listening to said one of the rules in the cult was you weren't allowed to speak. And this cult had a lot of rules, guys. I'm talking 6-minute showers. You weren't allowed to speak. This one woman who escaped the cult stated that she went for almost 4 years without speaking.
Ugh.
I can't go 4 seconds. But she went, I talk in my
That's what she
sleep,
said.
guys. That is what she said. And I shit you not, Jake. I wish I was joking. My wife says, you're podcasting in your sleep, right? And I'm like, oh, shit, cool. We'll call that practice.
Oh, cool. No problem there. Everything checks out.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. So, what she needs to do is start recording me in my sleep there. So these, it wasn't just adults that were recruited into this cult either. There was like members in there for years that started out like in teenage years and then went up into adulthood and were absolutely brainwashed. The survivors talk about how, and I think this is really funny, it was like being in a spaceship. They said like being inside this home, like very small windows, being cut off from the world, things like this. You still with me, J-Dog, or did I lose you?
I'm so with you, dude.
You're so with me? Good. I like it.
I'm about ready to shock and awe you.
I'm ready for it, dude.
Oh, just wait. It's coming right to you.
Okay. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the thing. I see it. Oh God, that's spooky as shit. It's kind of hot though in a weird way.
Thank you.
I don't know if we should talk about that on the show. You might have to call me later. So, okay, all right. So
wouldn't want to get you shadow banned.
Oh no, yeah, that's a good point. And for sure, if they're not shadow banning us, there's a very weird algorithm. I don't know why we're not trending, and I don't know why we're losing followers. Like why it's automatically unfollowing. I've had multiple people tell me I keep having to go back and click that follow button again. It keeps just automatically unfollowing, and I'm like, I have no idea.
It's just emblematic of everything I've been hearing for the last 3 years. People can't find my TikTok account. They have to keep coming back and refollowing me. People can't look at my Instagram account. They're warning me about my monetization. I said, I don't care. Take it. I don't give a shit. Take it. You can have it. What do I care? I got a website. I got all that stuff. I'll do what I want. I don't care.
So I'm wondering what would happen if I would click on some of these links in this website here from the Heaven's Gate website. Oh, no, it's all transcripted. We're not reading all this. It's like a 70-minute read.
Some of it's clickable. I clicked on some of the websites that they work for, and like there's a category through Heaven's Gate that says like other websites or like web sample websites. I think I clicked that one. Like, how would you like your company to be like repped forever in the Heaven's Gate Wayback Machine?
Want to be a guest on the show? Email it's doomsdaypodcast@gmail.com. That's it's doomsdaypodcast@gmail.com.
God, this is just so creepy. Because listen, this is the thing. When you go back and you look at this back at the Heaven's Gate website, you got to understand the people that built this, they believed in Applewhite. They believed in what he was saying. Like the people, they were obviously brainwashed. Like that's no bullshit, but they physically believed this was the answer. He was the savior. They were going to a better place. And these people felt bad for the people that didn't believe this.
And they were free to come and go as they pleased. But I think it's important to note that like the initial group eventually dropped off, and they had that open door policy, but they began recruiting new people in like 1995 and started to like rebrand and do their thing all over again. So they did it to people twice.
So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and try to play the douche tape. So you guys can get a little sense of what he was saying. Now, this might come with the intro to the show. So if you guys hear that, just bear with it. And we'll run through it. It's only going to be about 2 minutes of unnecessary audio if it does pop in. And it's just the intro of the show one more time because it could have got in front of the douche tapes. Shit happens. What do you think, Jake? Should we run it?
I just like that you keep saying the douche tapes. I think it's hilarious.
Well, he was a douche.
Run the douche tapes.
And these are his tapes. Run the douche tapes.
Warning, the following audio transmission is
we're going to have that audio. So we'll turn that down and we'll talk over that for a minute while that's doing its thing. So, no, this was, for what you guys are about to hear, this was like the initiation tape, kind of the tape that they utilized to suck everybody in. This is available in its form up on the platform right now, Spotify, Apple, whatever. You can go back and you can listen to this. I felt it was very important for you guys to get inside the minds of these people, to know these people were, and I'm not saying that all these people were in a weak state of mind, but they were in a state of mind that was easily manipulated. All right. For you to believe that Applewhite was the savior and that he was going to get you on the back of a spaceship and take you back to heaven on the spaceship, traveling behind a comet, and you had to die right at this point in time to make this happen. I mean, I don't know what you would call that, but I would call that brainwash.
Sign me up.
Today is February 22nd. What, you want to go for a ride on my spaceship?
Heck yeah, bro.
And I don't know, and I never got far enough into this. Did he elaborate how one would get from their bodies, their vessels, to the spaceship?
Well, their body was just the meat suit vessel that they used to peruse through the world, but they have to ascend to it. They would essentially be beamed up, lifted up in their heavenly body to the spaceship.
So your body just kind of, you die, your soul ascends to the spaceship, and they think it's just going to float right up there and hitch a ride, huh?
Yep, your body just dies, and then your soul goes up and says, "What's up, aliens?" And they say, "Come on aboard, man. You did it the right way, sweatpants and all."
Now, wouldn't it be hilarious if the aliens had 38 open seats and not 30 line, and they left Applewhite behind?
That would be funny. It'd also be funny if they'd be like, "Hey, you guys have any vodka?"
All right. Let's see if we're at the right part of this tape now. Here we go. Pretty long. And please, whatever you do after listening to this, don't join a cult.
Classroom, or in old language, a couple thousand years ago, disciples. those who are trying to prepare themselves for entry into the evolutionary level above human, synonymous with the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. We're going to talk to you about the most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. We'll title this tape Planet Earth About to be Recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
Hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com. Now, see, just like that in itself, all right, you got to understand this is rolling up. You know, the Y2K shit wasn't huge yet, but it was coming. People were, in the 90s, I remember, because I grew up, in that era. I remember everybody talking about, the year 2000, we're all going to die. That's what it says here. That's what it says here. So he had kind of a way to play off this, and he saw this as an out, right? Like, doomsday's coming, Jake. What are we going to do? We're going to get on a spaceship.
Well, he immediately garners the attention by creating a sense of urgency by saying, this is the only way when the world ends. This is the only way you get out to be able to survive. Immediate sense of urgency. Boom. Draw you in.
Right. So, what a douche. Anyway, we'll let this run for a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, that's automatically what he's doing. He's playing on people's emotions. The new millennium's coming. What do? We go with you. And that's what he says. This is your only option. Let's continue.
Planet Earth about to be recycled. Your only chance to survive or evacuate is to leave with us. Now, that's pretty major statement, pretty bold in terms of religion, in terms of anybody's intelligent thinking. To most people who would consider themselves intelligent beings, they'd say, well, that's absurd. What's all this doomsday stuff? What's all this prophetic stuff? Intelligent human beings should realize that everything has their cycle. They have their season. They have their beginning. They have their end. They have cycles.
Now, I could understand, like, when he says certain things, going back and listening to this audio, I could understand why some things would be appealing and how you could manipulate this with certain people. Like, the dinosaurs had their time, now they're gone. The dodo bird had its time, now it's gone. Human beings are going to have their time, then they're going to be gone. So if you want to survive, go with us, because you're not going to survive, right?
Well, on a long enough timeline, sure, he's correct. But in the immediate timeline, he's just a douche. But we know that because we're well-adjusted human being adults. And hindsight's always 20/20. But at the time, you can find a group of people who are going to listen to you no matter what you say. You can have an entire podcast that talks about what spatulas are best and have a whole podcast about spatulas, and you're going to find a crowd that's going to listen every time. They'll be like, oh, I just love spatulas. This is no different. The only difference between that and this is that with spatulas, it's just spatulas. But with this, he convoluted the lines of truth and fiction by using religion as a catalyst to do it, and it's manipulative, and it makes him a douche.
Right, he's definitely a douche. Just wondering how many times we're going to say douche throughout this episode. So,
takes Jester.
Exactly, and in furthering my own cult, I obviously have to make his cult look bad, right? Like, we're the cool cult, Fuck him, you got to be with us. And at one point, there's getting into the research of this and really like kind of diving into a lot of things, and again, not being prepared today. You wouldn't believe the shit that comes out of this man's mouth. He knew they were a cult. He knew exactly what they were doing. at some point in some of his audios, he's almost spitting in people's faces. That's almost how it seems, right?
Of course, and he was the only cop out he had was if somebody criticized it, he'd shrug his shoulders and be all shoulders and say, "What? I told them they were free to come and go as they pleased, and they did." That's it.
So that wasn't entirely true. So basically, when people entered into this cult, they were treated like children. I mean, renamed, reborn, all of these things. And like a child, you set rules, you set regulations, you tell them what they can and can't do. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, this was down to shower time, diet, speaking time. There was a lot of things. And as much as he says they were allowed to come and go, not all of them were. It was very limited. Basically, you were allowed to come and go if you were making money for the cult, is how this was going. So the one survivor stated, like, hey, they finally let me out so I could get a waitressing job to make some money for the cult. And whenever I experienced freedom again and I was allowed to speak after 4 years, I said, oh boy, this is the life for me. And I got the hell out of there. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know, Jake, you want to roll through a little bit more of the douche tapes?
Roll that beautiful douche footage.
Roll that beautiful douche footage.
We're not saying that planet Earth is coming to an end. We're saying that planet Earth is about to be refurbished, spaded under, and have another chance to serve as a garden for another human civilization. Now, the reason this is such an interesting time is not only because we're on the threshold of the end of this civilization, because it's about to be recycled, but because of where that finds us, where that finds you, where that finds those who would judge us, how we would speak of them and how they would speak of us. Now you keep saying us. Who do you think you are? Well,
so when he says the world's not coming to an end, it's about to be recycled, that's in like refurbished. That's a lot less threatening than bombs are going to be dropped. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. I think he did this to kind of play on the weaker person that couldn't handle things are going to explode all in your face and you can't handle it. I think this was kind of his way of attracting the weaker person.
It sounds just honestly like, knowing more about his background and where he comes from, it sounds like he's just taking things that worked for him, whether it's the religious call or whatever was the draw for him there, or whatever was the draw for him through the military, whatever the draws were that he responded to himself, he knew that they would probably have a good reaction on other people, and he used those parts and left out all the other stuff. And he said, I can make this work, I can manipulate people, and then he did.
It's exactly what he did. Man, I think it would be funny, man. You know what we should do one day, just like for a side project that would be really good? Just like put together all these cult leaders' audio in one thing, and we could just sit here and run commentary on it.
We just have like cult commentary day?
Yeah, cult commentary day.
Why not? I'm down.
Cultentary. Is that a word? Cultentary? Whatever.
I don't know. It is now. You said it.
We'll let a little bit more of this run, just to see where he kind of goes with this and see if we can't pick anything out of it. But let's just let this, what do we call it? Beautiful douche footage.
Roll that beautiful douche footage.
I, in all honesty, must acknowledge my father. My father is not a human father. My father is a member of the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. My father gave me, long before this civilization, gave me birth into that kingdom level above human, that kingdom of heaven, that kingdom of God. Now you can say, well, I can't believe that. Well, it's up to you whether you believe that or not. That's not important to me, even though I wish that you could believe it for your sake. For those who do believe it, stand a possibility of a future beyond this recycling time.
Notice how he said possibility of a future. Like, not guaranteeing anything, but possibility.
I just noticed how he's trying to speak like a prophet and use similar words and similar verbiage that you would find basically in your holy Bible, and kind of go at people that same way, trying to inform slash educate people on things that they don't know because it's totally new. And this was the whole premise of your basic holy Bible. But the problem was there are no signs and proof of wonders to back up his claims. And it was all, well, you can believe me if you want to, but if you don't, then you're just gonna die. Okay.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com. Yeah, it's all a bunch of bullshit. But I mean, that, like you said, he took things that people were familiar with and he manipulated them, and boom, there you go.
Anybody
Right?
could anybody could do that. Anybody who can sit down and just put their thoughts together in discernible words, and just, how can I copy the Bible and make myself sound smart? How can I make myself sound like I'm a prophet? How can I profit from being a false prophet? And that's essentially what's happening here.
No, I 100% get it. I agree with you. Let's roll some more of this douche dip.
Now you say, well, according to religious literature, I thought there was someone else that was going to come and be our Savior here at these end days. That was going to be Christ's return. Well, the name Christ might be a little confusing, or the name Jesus, because the name Jesus, of course, was the name given to the body that mind that was indeed from the kingdom of heaven came. And that mind was here 2,000 years ago, and that mind came for the express purpose of teaching humans how they could be saved, how they would not be plowed under at the end of the age. Well, we're at the end of the age. So the one, or the mind that was in Jesus, what? That mind is in me? You'll have to decide that for yourself. I must admit that I am here again, that I'm here saying exactly the same thing that I said then, trying to say it in today's language, trying to hope that for your sakes you can see what we have to offer you, for our Father offers you life. I'm not talking about human life. If planet is about to be recycled, and we see the planet as a stepping stone. Planet Earth, a stepping stone.
Now, you got to remember, at some point, as this gets deeper and deeper, he does claim to be Jesus' return to Earth. He kind of hints toward it right here, but he does claim to be the Messiah returning to Earth.
I mean, he's already doing that. He just did it, and
he's more open about it.
I'm here speaking to you on terms that you'll understand for this world.
Yeah, that was the whole point. That's what Jesus did. He had to put it in plain text to where people could understand, because they weren't understanding. And he goes on to say, many will come in my name, and they'll be false prophets. And he's just another one of them, and he's completely delusioned, and he's taking something good and he's bastardizing it and making it terrible.
It's so hard for me to listen just because he's such a freaking douche. But Jake, what if he was right?
Well, there's 30 happy people and
At 38.
38 happy people saying, wow, I sure am glad I cut my balls off and drank the Kool-Aid. I don't think that's a condition.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it was pretty easy for it's pretty easy thing to do. You don't have to cut your balls off. You don't have to do any of that. You pretty much just have to say, "Yep, I believe Jesus is real, and I believe He's our Savior, and He came to cleanse and purify our hearts and this world, and show us a better route." And then you go out and you tell other people. Like those are the only conditions.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, essentially. I mean, there's other stuff, of course, but those are essentially the easiest things to do. And you don't have to spend any money. You don't have to wear a certain shoes. You don't have to wear a jumpsuit, and you don't have to drink anything for
it. Listen, so just to give you guys a sense of how wacko they were. This is like one thing I wanted to get into that we. I don't know why it's popping in my head now, but did you, Jake? Did you know that the group purchased alien abduction insurance?
How?
I don't know, but the insurance covered up to 50 members and would pay out $1 million per person. The policy covered abduction, impregnation, or death by aliens.
What?
Yep.
What insurance salesman is going to say, "Yeah, we offer alien abduction insurance. Would you like that? Does that sound good for your group?"
Listen, whatever local State Farm agent you have that just got done doing an 8-ball said, "Yes, I'll write that policy." That's exactly what happened.
Good God. I guess if they're going to give the money over every month, I mean, they'll sell you anything, I guess. It makes sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, okay, here's the thing. If any family members of the victims are listening, technically, Applewhite claimed to be an alien, not of this world. He abducted your people. They died. You guys should be getting those $1 million payouts.
Well, you see, the problem is those payouts aren't conditional on the event of a suicide. So it's probably null and void, but it's also very wackadoodle.
It is. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that. But, I mean, you got to think about, like, okay, you're talking $1 million back in 96. That was a hell of a lot of money back in 96. Not to mention, guys, that they decided to get a Taj Mahal for their mass suicide. 9,200 square feet, Jake, was what their house was, the monastery that they rented for their mass suicide, and they were paying $7,000 a month in cash for this place, dude.
I know.
That's a lot of money in the 90s.
And they were affording it too. They afforded it.
God, could you imagine if they like actually put their minds to something good?
Yeah. I can, and I wish they would have.
Oh, and and to get into the suicide side of this, it wasn't just like taking the parabentanol or whatever it's called, and they were mixing it in things. They were putting in applesauce, pudding, and just taking it with some vodka. They I'm just like thinking, this is such a horrible thing to laugh at. I'm going straight to hell, I swear. But I mean, I'm just imagining these guys in their jumpsuits sitting there. My pudding's not going down so smooth. My applesauce isn't working either. What if we mix our pudding with our applesauce? No, that's not going to work. So let's take a shot of vodka to go with it. That was kind of what was happening here as these guys were in preparation to end their own lives. That's what they were doing. And the worst part about this was it really wasn't working. And a lot of these guys had to put plastic bags over their heads to induce asphyxiation.
Oh, God. it's I
hate to laugh at it and poke fun of it, like I really do, because it's such a horrible thing to do. But like when you sit down and you think to yourself, you've got Applewhite over there, no, do it like this, and they're like, no, eat the pudding, and they're going back and forth trying to figure out a way to kill themselves. And this was like such an orchestrated thing, like such forethought. They did their exit tapes, they went out for their final meal, they all got together in matching outfits, they all had shrouds, they all had this all planned out, videotapes and everything, and they couldn't figure out the main way to get onto the spaceship. Right?
This to me just has the same amount of impact as if like my 4-year-old was upset and he's like, I'm gonna run away, Dad, and then he packed a backpack like with just dinosaur toys in it and then went out to the front porch. That's how well thought out this is.
Yep. So for those of you guys that want to know what they were wearing, so this is like the big thing. We mentioned the Nikes and everything like that. So all 39 deceased were in identical black shirts and sweatpants, brand new black and white Nike Decade athletic shoes. And this is the best part. Armband patches reading Heaven's Gate Away Team. They went into this knowing what their plan was, knowing what they were going to do, and they were happy about it. And they thought everybody else that wasn't buying into this, we were the ones that were brainwashed. We were the ones that, didn't understand. And they come right out and say it in the exit tapes. Like, we know people are going to make fun of us. We know people aren't going to understand why we did what we did, but we want these people to know we're happy. Right? Now, here's the thing, and this is, I mean, take this for what it is, guys, and really think about this for a second. So everybody gives you shit at some point in your life, right? If you, and I don't care what it's for. If you get a job at McDonald's, you're going to have a friend that makes fun of you. If you tell your dad, hey, I'm going to clown college, he's going to make fun of you. At some point in these people's lives, I'm sure somebody was giving them a little bit of hell. Like, what are you doing with these people? You're nuts. You got to get away from this, blah, blah, blah. Applewhite knew this and cut them off from the world, because if any of these people had a rational influence in his life, it would have been a very simple conversation of, hey, John, you're not going to ride a comet with Applewhite to heaven. Let's think about this logically, right? Like, let's sit down and actually think this situation through. This is not going to happen. But instead, they took the vodka, they took the poison pudding, they took the poison applesauce, they put on their jumpsuits, and they took a ride.
And he knew that, and that's why he made them remove all communication from anybody who would talk sense to them.
This is an emergency action message. At approximately 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NORAD is tracking 15 ICBM nuclear missiles inbound to the following cities: Orlando, Miami, Pittsburgh, Dover, Newark, Richland, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Seattle, Detroit. This is an extremely deadly situation. Stay tuned. The next emergency message will be a presidential address.